What's up, world? Lee here with Sticks, Strings, and Other Things, my tiny little corner of the internet where I come to every other week and I chit-chat with you about all of the crafty things that I have been getting my hands onto. I am coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, where we have a lot of sun today, which is really nice because we've had some weather the last couple of days. I know there's been a lot of flooding in northern Washington state, and BC has been hit really, really hard with floods and mudslides and landslides and all sorts of stuff. So I'm definitely thinking about all of the people that are affected by all of that, and my thoughts are with them. I'm to you from the Pacific Northwest, like I said, where hopefully this rain will dry us out just a teeny tiny bit. I wish we could, I don't know, get the rain more spread out all at once. Anyhow, today I am drinking in this awesome mug. I mean, look at this mug. Look at this mug. It is the world's best mug. It really is. Anyway, I am drinking some Bainbridge Brunch from Church Mouse. It is an Assam with some bergamot and jasmine. It's quite good and I enjoy it. So that is the tea of the day. Please excuse the random light shining through the blinds over here. I blocked it up as much as I could, but there's still a scattering. So, right. Today is November 16, and this is episode 28, I think. Yes, 28. Who knew? Just kind of doing my own little thing over here. I enjoy all of you who are watching. Thank you so much for coming back, and if this is your first time, I hope you find something that pleases you, and feel free to hit the subscribe-y button thing and all that jazz. Anyhow, what have I been getting my hands into this past 2 weeks? Kind of a little bit of just about everything. Very scattered this last little bit. But I have a fully finished object in knitting and a it's finished right now object in my crochet. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my Everyday Slouchy Beanie by Dragon Horde Yarn. I knit this in 2 colors and 2 yarns from Farmer's Daughter's Fibers. One was their Mighty Mo and one was their Squish Fingering. And I knitted a little bit longer than the recipe pattern calls for, but it is absolutely wonderfully slouchy and warm. So I'm a fan. I am a super fan. So this got finished. Loving it. It will be fantastically warm. I still technically need to wash and block it. It'll look a little bit better after that, but it's done well enough. So that is my finish. What is my, it's sort of a little bit finished right now. Obviously that would be my Cryptid Sal. Obviously, which is living in this wonderful spooky bag. I am doing my Cryptid Sal with the called for DMCs on a 32 count sugar maple fibers fabric called Burnt Papyrus. I'm doing this 2/2. Oh, look at that! I am I'm just in love with this piece. The Witchy Stitcher, this is her Cryptid Sal that she's running, and oh, I am just in love. So these are the latest. Jackalope and Yeti. But yes, isn't this just the best thing ever? Waiting for my Kraken. Still waiting for my Kraken. I really want a Kraken. Love this piece. And I am up to date, which is why I'm saying I'm sort of finished right now. There's nothing more I can do on it right now, so I'm going to call it finished for now. But Friday, another one will come out. Will it be my Kraken? Will it? Who knows? I mean, there might be Kraken-y colors in here. I mean, you could make a Kraken out of these grays. You could. Give him some horrible red. You could. You could totally make a Kraken. Loving this piece still. Absolutely loving it. So let's continue on with the cross stitch right now. What else have I been working on? Well, you know that daily 25/7 thing that I've been 24/7? Yeah, 24/7 thing that I was failing at before, but I've been very successful at with this particular piece. I'm still very successful with it. I am enjoying 24 minutes a day, every day. Sometimes a little bit more, but I'm usually sticking at just the 24 minutes. And I am making some amazing progress on my project. Whew! Words, they be hard. It's living in this spooky bag, just because I have a spooky bag doesn't mean it's a spooky thing inside. I mean, my bags often have absolutely nothing to do with what's inside them. I just like them, and so I use them. Anyhow, this is Plum Street Samplers Hurt Not the Earth, Excuse the Crinkles. So that is the project. And last time I was working on finishing up the words down here, and then I had this whole bit over here to do. Well, I have finished up all of the words. They are all completed. I then came over here, finished up the roof. I'd had a little bit of the roof done, but finished up all the roof, put in the windows, the door, tossed on some chimneys, and now I am almost done painting that house. Almost. Just like, that's probably one more day. I already did today, so I've already done my 24 for today. So this will be tomorrow, and then I just have my hill, because I've already done the zigzaggies that are in the hill, and it will be done. What? Done? Crazy. Strange. Unusual. Yes. I am really enjoying this 25/7 thing. I am doing this on the called for fabric with the called for threads. I got it as a kit many years ago. Many years ago. And anyway, I am absolutely adoring this piece and starting to think about what will be my next piece for 24/7. I mean, I just have the house, which should be able to be finished up tomorrow, and then a hill, which probably be a couple days. It's kind of a big hill, and it's all solid stitching. So by the time I see you next time, which will still be in November, the very last day of November, but it will still be November, I will have this done. I know. I'll have it done, which means I really need to start thinking about what will replace it. And I think it's going to be, I'm not sure. You'll have to come back in 2 weeks to find out what I replaced this bad boy with. But yes, I'm loving 24/7. I didn't like the 24 stitches. That just wasn't enough project progress to make me want to pull it out every day, so it just didn't work for me. But 24 minutes, I can get that in. I love it. I love it. Love it. Definitely something I think I will be continuing to do throughout all of next year. All right, the other thing I've been working on is my Anngrimshaw. And remember how I just said that often the bag that I have my project in has absolutely nothing to do with what the project is inside? Yeah. Anngrimshaw is living in a winter wonderland here. It was an empty bag. It worked. So, Anngrimshaw is, oh goodness, by the Scarlet Letter. I am doing it on 40 count. Oh, poo. That's not the name of the fabric. I promise. What is it? Earthen? Haha. 40 count earthen by Picture This Plus. I did remember. I just didn't trust myself to remember. And I am using Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed fibers in her rubbed black. And that, let's try not to have some shadow on there. That, what is that shadow? Oh, it's probably the camera. That's funny. That is my project. Progress. And yes, I have it on the biggest piece of fabric ever. Oh, here's my I didn't want to do it here because I did it on the wrong side of the fabric. It's still just living down there. Yeah, whatevs. I'll pull it out later. But yes, I have 2 of the motifs. Am I getting this done very quickly? No. No, I'm not. But I am enjoying it. This is the sampler I am working on for Jacob de Graaf's from Modern Folk Embroideries Black Sampler November. And this is my black sampler. I'm hoping I can get 1 or 2 more motifs done on Anngrimshaw. So there's Anne. And I have finished. Let's go from the right side this time. That one and that one. And I'm hoping to get these 2, if not these 3. If I got all 3 across the top done this month, I'd be feeling pretty darn chuffed. Don't think that'll happen, but I'd be feeling pretty darn chuffed if it did. So, get. What do you, oh, there. It's caught on my threads. There we go. I am loving Anngrimshaw though. The 1 strand of Vicki Clayton silk over 2 strands of the Picture This Plus in 40 count. Perfect. Match made in heaven. Cross stitch wonderland. I'm loving it. And that is pretty much all I touched cross stitch wise. Yeah, I was more focused on finishing the bits that I was working on in my Cryptid, and wasn't as scattered with my stitching as I have been sometimes. That and some of my stitching time I've been devoting to plans for next year. We'll talk about that later. So now let's look at my knitting. I started a new pair of socks because I finished my hat, and I need a work project, as simple I can pick it up and knit it whatever kind of project. And I realized I still hadn't started my festive box of socks yet. The ones that are supposed to be a whole pair finished by the end of this month. Jude from Stranded Dye Work does this every year, and he, yeah. Needless to say, I doubt I'm going to get this pair done by the end of this month. Who knows? It could happen, but it's unlikely. Anyway, I am using Stranded Dye Works yarns in this year's festive colorway, which was called Popcorn Garland. This is the BFL nylon fingering weight, and I am just doing a generic vanilla sock. But I am absolutely loving. Ooh, I'm in the middle of a row. Absolutely loving how this yarn's knitting up. It's just delightful. Love it. So yeah, just a vanilla sock. It's just 64 stitch sock, 2x2 rib on US size 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter. I'm using my signature DPNs because sharp tips. I love a good sharp tip on my needles all the time. Anyhow, so that is what I am working on for my festive box of socks, which probably will not be finished this month. I am going to use the red velvet color, the mini that Jude sent with this sock set. I will be using this for the heels and toes. I didn't want it on the cuff for some reason. I'm not sure why. That's just how I picked it up and started knitting this time. But this definitely will be the heels and toes. I'm thinking of doing an afterthought heel, probably the umbrella heel is what I'm thinking. Yeah, loving, loving, loving these socks. They're just fun to work in. Fun to work in, fun to work on. And it is living in this pretty little bag from, I don't know, Slip Stitch Studio. And then, what else is she working on? Well, there was this mystery shawl along. Stephen West, I might have mentioned it once or twice in other, oh my goodness, there's a big ol' smear on that glasses. I might have mentioned it once or twice on this podcast. Possibly. You might have heard me mention Stephen West. I am behind. The 4th clue's been out for a while now. It is what it is. It's a lot of knitting. I got stuck in clue 2 in the giant wings. It's been out long enough now that I really don't need to do spoilers. Do I? No, I really don't need to do spoilers. So, all of these are Cannon Hand Dyes yarns. They were in one of her clubs. This was the, oh, what club was this? Wuthering Heights. So, you start at the top. There's this luscious, luscious fun section. The back is terrifying. There are so many ends. Then the triangles and the shrimps and the slip stitches and the This is where I got stuck. I did the brioche. Look at that. Look at that. I did the brioche. I'm not great at brioche. I'm really not great at brioche. But I did the brioche and I'm very happy with it. And then there's the crisscrossy section. And I kept going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to do the stripes at the end. There are some that I've seen that I'm like, oh, those look nice. There are others that I'm like, you made a circus tent. So I really wasn't sure how I felt about the stripes. And so I sat on it and I thought about it and I sat on it and I thought about it and I realized I'm not a designer. I'm not a designer. I can change some things, but I cannot more. I did not want to put forth the effort to rewrite the end of the shawl. And so I decided to go with the stripes. I decided if it was going to be magnificently hideous, it was going to be magnificently hideous. This is an art piece already. This shawl is. This is art, not, I don't know what the word I'm going for is. But this is an art piece. It's much more of an art piece than some other Stephen West shawls, which are, they're all arty. What? I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I decided to do the stripes. So I started these up the other day. As you can see, I'm not very far. I am 1 and a teeny tiny bit through one entire repeat of the colors, and then I have started a second repeat. So I have I have a lot of stripes to go. A whole lot. And remember I was saying something about yarn ends? Yarn ends. So many. Now, a chunk of these are actually already woven in. A chunk of these I did use the Weave and Steven method while I was stitching. But there are a whole bunch where I didn't remember to. Like this one, all of these, yeah. It's gonna be probably 3 or 4 knitting sessions of time just weaving in all of those ends. And then I'll be washing and blocking, and then it'll be, goodness only knows how many knitting times, how many knitting hours will be to clip off all the ends. It's gonna take forever, but it's gonna be glorious at the end. It is going to be glorious. So yes, that's as far as I am on those stripes. Oh, it's going to take forever. But I am loving my colors. I am loving how kind of toned down this one is. And I cannot wait to begin to be able to wear it. When people have been wearing theirs and they do this, it looks very Egyptian-y to me somehow. So people are like, dude, I'm like, ooh, look how Egyptian I am. I mean, I'm not Egyptian, but it looks very Egyptian art-like to me. Anyhow, I'm getting excited to get this one done, which is bad because these stripes at the end, this is going to take me a goodly bit of time. I would not be at all surprised if I was still working on this edging in 2 weeks. Not at all surprised if I am still plugging away. Hopefully over on this side plugging away, but I do not see getting all of those stripes done in 2 weeks. It could happen. I doubt it though. Anyway, that is my Shawlography by Stephen West, and I'm still really kind of loving it. It didn't end the way I expected. I'm not sure how I expected it to end. It didn't end that way though, and I'm still loving it. Want to wear it. Want to have this fun. Again. This. I love the way that looks. I don't know what it is. I love that. Right. Shawlography, done. No, not done. Shawlography, talked about and set aside. I am doing this on, oops, let me look over. US size 5s, which is a 3.5 millimeter. And that is my mindful needles that tell me to breathe. Still love the tips, still love the cords, still don't like the sags. And then, this might be a little bit of a surprise. It's living in my super cute white wolf bag. Oh, I love this bag. It's so adorable. This is my fat squirrel bag. Do you know what's living in here? I mean, it's been a while since I've shown this, but do you know what's living in here? My crochet blanket. Yes, my crochet blanket. I have done enough on my crochet blanket that I felt like I should show it off. Look. I will. Okay. I know nothing about crochet, so when I was setting it all up, I did it a little long. This is folded in half. Oh my golly. Anyhow, look at all that. I'm still unsure about that beginning. It's all pastels and I don't know what I was thinking. But look at all these lovely stripes and colors and chaos, and I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. And this is all I have left with my first magic knot ball. That's it, just this tiny little nugget. But no worries. I've already made this magic knot ball and this magic knot ball. So I have plenty already knotted up, ready to go. Not to mention all my other scraps. But I'm loving this. I should put I don't think I have one handy, but before I start back up on this, I should put a little stitch marker in stating where I'm at so that I can show you how far I got from the last time, because I didn't do that last time, or if I did, I've long since lost the marker. I'm really enjoying this. I pulled it out a couple times and didn't have enough progress to show, but I was like down here last time I showed it, I think, round about here, and now I'm up to there. Absolutely loving it. Again, I kind of made it a little, it's a little long. So, it just keeps going. So I'll just kind of go like this. Zoop. Zoop. And there's the end. Oh my God. So rows take a while. Rows take a goodly long while when I'm working on this. Oh, and anytime I stop, I don't know if this is what normal crocheters do, I just put a stitch marker on the stitch I'm working on, and that way I don't have to worry about losing it. So, ooh, let me see if I can fold this back up. I am enjoying that again. It came out for a couple days actually. One of the really, really windy, wintry, wet days that we had, it just seemed appropriate to be working on this particular piece. And there it is, all nicely folded up. Eventually it's going to get big enough that it won't fit in my super lovely, cute little bag, but we will cross that bridge in like 4 years when that happens. And that is pretty much all I worked on. Knitting and crochet and cross stitch. Rather successful, I think. I quite do. So let's get on to haul, which is small. I am I am a patron of Tracy Horner from Ink Circles, so anytime she releases new patterns, I'm at the tier where she sends them out to me. So that recently just happened. So the first things I'm going to show you are those. This is the Hamsa Mandala, Rabbit Rabbit October, Rabbit Rabbit November, and Rabbit Rabbit, oops, there we go, December, and then Black Velvet. Oh, so pretty. So I'm enjoying doing that. I like being doing the Patreon thing. I do it for a couple different people. She just happens to be one who is cross stitch related and does that as one of her reward levels. I have 2 knitting bits. One is my, did I already show this? I don't think I did. My Yarnable subscription, which I have decided I'm fluffing my nose, I think from the blanket. Anyhow, I am going to do December's Yarnable subscription, and then I am going to cancel that one. I have a giant back pile, and I do this because it's all over here. I have a giant backlog of her yarns, and while I have plans for some of them, I have enough of a stockpile that I don't want to keep adding to it right now. Maybe at a later date I will join her club again, because her yarns are delicious. Her yarns are absolutely delicious and luscious and squishable and lovely, and she does a great club. She runs a great club, and it's fantastic. It's Hypnotic Yarn. I always call it Yarnable, but that's the subscription yarn. Hypnotic Yarns is the person who runs the Yarnable subscription. And her yarns are luscious. There's a backlog. Anyhow, this is the latest. It is called Apple Crisp, and it's a plush sock yarn, which is a superwash merino nylon. Again, I get her fingering weight, 1 skein. And yeah, I have enjoyed being in that club, but it is time to give that spot up to somebody else who hopefully would use them more quickly. Eventually, when I do work through all my backlog of her yarns, hopefully I will get back into it. Yeah. This is my Row 1 mini. I've been getting this one for a while. I use these minis in all sorts of things, from heels, cuffs, and toes for socks, to cuffs and sleeves, to wherever I just want an extra pop of color. I've used them occasionally just as a pop for a little bit of color in shawls where you just need a little bit of extra oomph. I love the Row 1 minis. Now, normally I take them out of the crunchy bag, but I didn't this time. So this is how they come. Yes, they are all already wound for you, which haha is so nice for minis. This month's yarns were from the Red Pansy. Look at those colors. I love this autumny one. And this tealy guy is really great. But yes, there's my row 1 mini. Love it. Gonna continue doing it. Don't mind the crinkling. There we go. And then this is the other little bit that you get in her club, which obviously I haven't opened yet. You open it up, you get a sheet that tells you all about the dyer of the month, and then lists the colors that you received. There's 10 minis in each one. Then, oh, I got a recipe for pumpkin bread. That's not always in there, but that's exciting. That's gonna stay out. Now I want pumpkin bread. And she always sends a little, oh, that's adorable. She sends a little stitch marker. And this time it's a KitchenAid mixer. That's adorable. And then there's usually candies or, oh, it's a Biscoff and tea this time. I was gonna say I usually could never eat the candies, but it's a Biscoff. I love Biscoff. Ooh. And then a chamomile tea. How wonderful. I'm going to be having that Biscoff while I edit. Oh yeah. Anyway, I always put the paper that has the dyer information and all of that. I always put it back in with the minis, just because when I pull out the bag, I'm like, ooh, pretty. I read about the dyer. Often it's a dyer I've never heard of, and so it is a wonderful way of being introduced to new yarn dyers, and it's delightful. Absolutely delightful. There's one more thing in my stash acquisitions today. It's another Fat Squirrel fiber bag. She did a pre-order for these just a little while ago. When I saw it, I went, I need that. Library cards. Look at that. Now, I'm old enough that I remember having to do library cards. Isn't that just fun? Has the names, and it amuses me quite a bit. It's like, oh look, here's Jane Austen. Several checkouts back in whenever this was. Then we have the story of King Arthur and his knights. Look, lots of people liked checking that one out. And then we have Shakespeare with Much Ado About Nothing and not a single checkout. That makes me sad. That makes me really sad. I like Shakespeare, but it's really fun because, you know, it's just kind of, you know, Dickinson selected poems, Huckleberry Finn, Much Ado About Nothing gets no one's love. So sad. Peter Pan, Great Gatsby has no one either. That's deserved. But yes, I just get library cards. Ah! So I think my next sweater, when I start it, after I finish the cardigan I'm working on that got no love, which is why I didn't show it, I think my next sweater is going to live in this one because I love the bag. And that is all my stash. I want to make this now. The best pumpkin bread. Try with a slice. Oh, try a slice with a smear of cream cheese. Literally what it says. Smear of cream cheese. All right, that's delightful. I may have to try and make that. I don't think I have any pumpkin, but maybe I'll make it later this week. Next week, this week's chaos. So let's get on to plans. I gave some minor hints about it earlier when I said some of my cross-stitch time has been devoted to plans instead of of actual stitching. And that would be because I have been putting together my next year's Whip Go board. You might have noticed I haven't talked much about my Whip Go board in the last little while, and that would be because I fell off the Whip Go board thing. This was my first time doing it, and it did not do it well. Let's just leave it at that. I did not plan well. So this year, I'm approaching it slightly differently. I've created my board. I'm actually, oh gosh, this stupid, I have a fluff somewhere and it's tickling my nose and driving me mad. Mad, I say. Absolutely bonkers. So, where was I? Whip Go. I'm actually doing my Whip Go board on my computer this time. I think it'll just be easier to not lose it and misplace it 9 times out of 10 and then forget what you're doing. I can just look on the computer and there it is, and I will know, and I will, it'll be great. But I do think I have it finalized now. I do have all my squares filled in, and I'm tempted to change 1 or 2 things. We'll see. I know that on my current one, I was like, oh, I want to do X, Y, Z, but I was way too specific. Way too specific. So I was like, I want to finish this bit and that bit and this thing. And I'm like, okay, if it's a small enough cross stitch, that works. But if it's a large cross stitch, it didn't work for me. That's what I'm getting to. That's the point I'm trying to make. It didn't work for me. So I'm organizing it slightly differently this year. I have some other plans on how to address my whip stash. I didn't work on a lot of my larger projects. I didn't even touch any of my BAPs. I don't think I'm going to touch any of my BAPs this next year either. We will see. That might change. That's one. I'm pointing at one. It's living up there. That's one of the things that I'm going back and forth on my Whip Go board, is whether or not I want to put in my at least one of those giant BAPs that I have. My Middle Earth map is the one I'm thinking of adding. I'm going back and forth on it. I think I will. I think I will. I think I will. We'll see. So I'm finalizing it. I'm doing the final tweakings. And this time I want to get a bit more progress on some of my larger projects. I have a lot of large projects. I've got Jane Reese, I've got Pandemic from Long Dog, I've got Anngrimshaw now, I've got several really large projects, and I didn't really focus on them at all, and I'd like to focus on them and get some progress in on them. So that's what I've been doing with that. And when it comes to my knitting, I think January's knitting is going to be trying to either frog, finish, or free my projects. Finish them, frog them, free them from the get more things off my needles is my plan, I think, for January for my knitting. As for the next 2 weeks, what is my plan? Well, shawlography. Shawlography. I'm hoping to be much closer to the end of shawlography. Those stripes, those stripes, those stripes, they're never going to end. And I plan on getting more done on my sock for my festive box of socks. I do not think I will have that pair finished by the end of the month, so I will not be completing Jude's festive box of socks whip along. So maybe next year. Maybe next year I'll succeed. This year I will not. Yeah, I think that's it for knitting. If I have extra time between those two, I would like to work on my cozy, not cozy memories blanket. That's not what I was going to say. My comfort fade cardie. So that's my knitting plans. 3 of them. That should be doable for 2 weeks. Like, lots of progress here, work progress here, and if I have time, that one. that seems reasonable. As for stitching, I'm going to keep up with my 24/7 because loving it. Loving this. Loving it, loving it. It's working for me right now, and so as long as it's working for me, I'm going to run with it. And with that, I believe I will finish Hurt Not the Earth in 2 weeks. I think that will be easy and done, and whew. Then I will... I don't know which one I should pick though. There's 3 on the list that I think are going to fill that slot. One is a Christmas piece. I haven't pulled it out since probably December last year, and I'm tempted to pull that one out, but I'm also tempted to just work on that separately because it's Christmas. I'm also thinking of pulling out I've forgotten the names, so stay tuned. You'll see it here in 2 weeks, what I have chosen, because my brain just is gone. And I'm hoping to stay up to date with my cryptid. So there is, I think both weeks. Nope, only one. I think there's only one more cryptid to come out between now and the next time I film on the 30th. Yeah, I think that's right, because the last Friday of the month she doesn't release a cryptid. So I think I only have one. Let it be the Kraken! Crossing my fingers, I want it to be a Kraken so bad. So hopefully it'll be the Kraken. If it isn't, I'm sure I'll love whatever it is. And then I would like to get another motif, if not 2, done on Anngrimshaw. I also need to pull out my friend's piece that I'm working on for him, the shells. I have been punking away at it, but oh man, there's a lot of backstitch in there, and that chart is falling apart, so it's a process just to pull it out without things disintegrating. The chart, at least. But I would like to get another square done on that. Don't know if that's going to happen. Occasionally there's clouds or something, because the lighting in here is going all sorts of strange. Yeah, those are my plans. I think they're pretty solid. I think they're pretty decent. Other than that, more plans I'm going to do is finalize my whip go board and see if I have any other plans that way. And I will be filming one more time in November, because the next Tuesday that I would film would be the 30th of November. Hooray! So I will do a... Oh, yeah, I will. I will do a full-on vlog, or not vlog, a full-on podcast for the 30th. But I am also going to be doing Vlogtober. Not Vlogtober. We're well past but we're well past October. Vlogmas. I will be doing Vlogmas. I'm looking forward to it. I have a tea, maybe 2 tea advents. I have a cross-stitch box for the Advent season, and I have one, I think only one. I have one. It's sitting in my living room. Yarn Advent. Yes, went from 4 Advents last year to 1 Yarn Advent this year. Mainly because I was going to buy another one, and then I missed it and didn't. So I think I only have the one. Oh, I do have for Vlogmas, it is another Advent thing, but it's Advent socks. I forget, oh, what's the dyer? Who's the dyer? Who's the dyer? Oh, drat. It's in the mail right now. I'm getting sent, but I don't have it yet, or I'd be showing it. Oh goodness, I forgot the dyer's name. This is terrible. Anyway, she does a Advent sock every year with 24 stripes of color. So I'm going to be working on those during December and doing a stripe a day on a pair of socks. So I'm excited about that. That'll be fun. Oh, what's her name? Oh gosh, that's really sad. Don't remember the name. Who? Well, I'll show it. So those are my Advent plans. Finalize those a little bit more. So gonna see how that works with working retail at Christmas. It's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. I don't know what day. I know I'm gonna try to get one up every day. I just don't know what times, whether I'll be filming in the morning, in the night, putting them up, we don't know. And Also, cross your fingers for me that this particular filming today works. I don't have to fight with it like I did last time. Cross your fingers. I'm crossing mine, and my toes, and my legs, and my nose too. Anyhow, that is plans. As for life stuff, it's been wet. My area is fine. We've just been wet and windy, and my creek behind my house almost deserves the name creek right now. It's been wet enough. This is my second winter here, so I'm used to the creek being an aspirational name for the water that trickles through my backyard. Right now, creek, yeah, actually almost is accurate. It's been wet, but we are safe. We are fine. I'm glad my kid no longer lives in Bellingham. They had massive flooding up there. Cedar Woolley has been tons of flooding there. Mount Vernon. There's I forget which river it is in Washington State, Skagit River I think it is, that has flooded really bad. They're talking like almost historic levels, and then the gauge that they used to measure got destroyed by debris in the floodwater. So they're like, no, I don't know. It's high. It's bad. And then all of the nastiness up in BC with the landslides, mudslides, and people getting stranded and bridges gone, and it's been bad. It's been bad. So I'm hoping that everybody stays safe and it all starts getting cleaned up, and hopefully starts drying out a little bit so that we don't have another atmospheric. We're gonna have another atmospheric river pointed right at us. I mean, the Pineapple Express is a yearly thing. Well, sadly not yearly anymore, but I just wish you could spread this amount of rain out over more time. Like, instead of getting this amount of rain in 2 days, let's do it over a week and a half. I mean, that's how it should be scheduled, right? Other than that, as you can see, the shoulder's doing pretty good. Mostly. The shoulder is doing so much better. It's fantastic. And because my health is the way it is, I seem to be allowed, my body's decided that I have one health issue at a time. So this is fixing, so I have others now. This aging thing, I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm not a fan of the opposite of aging, because that would be death. I wish I could choose another option. I would like to stop aging without the death part. I don't know. Download my brain into a Android body or something that I can just buy replacement parts and go, oh, that wore out. I'll just put a new one in. Because this aging thing is crap. That's what it is. Absolute crap. And I'm done with it. Done with it. But I want to keep living, so I'm not done with it. But I say. Not a fan. Not a fan. Right. Other than that, the kid is working real hard on getting into grad school. He's working on all that weird stuff I don't understand. For applications, loving his new job. The guy's working at the office again. Little strange, but it's good. I am actually back to working almost all my days I'm supposed to. Still have PT, so once PT's all said and done, hopefully I can get back to my normal days. And yeah, we'll see. It's almost the holiday season, so things will probably be picking up. I mean, they've already been nicely busy. Good busy. But they'll be picking up again. And other than that, I have plans for gifts that I still need to create. Maybe that should have been in my plans to actually finish a couple of those things too. Plans might change. We'll see. Come back in 2 weeks. You'll find out what the heck she's done. Right. Yeah, so life's kind of just doing its thing. Nothing too shareably new and exciting. which is probably okay. I hope all of you are doing fantastic. I hope your knitting is going fantastically. If you are a knitter, I hope there are no dropped stitches unless you want them to be. And if you are a stitcher, I hope that your borders are meeting if they have a border, and that your stitches line up and your counts are correct, both in knitting and in cross stitch. Counting is important. Maths. Maths. Got to do our maths, right? And I will see you all here one more time in November. Well, technically, I'll film in November, but it'll go up on December. But then I'm also going to film a Vlogmas on the 1st of December. So you'll have 2 things from me on December 1st. Exciting. It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. And I hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving in the US, I hope that you enjoy it. I hope it is a stress-free, happy time. If you do not celebrate Thanksgiving for whatever reason, you don't live in the US, or you live in the US but you don't celebrate, I hope you have some time to enjoy family if you want to, either family through blood or family through choice. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.